staying fit in its relationship to business. When I first started my company and I was doing everything just to get it going, this was not top of mind for me at all. I look back at those pictures of me and I didn't put on 1,000,000 pounds or do anything, but there's a lot to be said for just staying healthy and being able to have energy, continue on and get things done. And I look back and I see the most unhealthy version of myself. And the power of this comes from what really happened when I started to focus on this. I started to focus on this when we started our second location here in Florida. And it was crazy. I started with some different little specific goals, started chipping away, and before you know it, I started getting more fit and the company was more successful than it's ever been. And later in this video, I'm going to really talk about one of the pivotal moments being doing 75 hard. Well, something that's so hand in hand with this is the fact that almost every business owner I've ever spoke with said when they did 75 hard, those were the best 75 days of business as well. And that's where I say fitness and business go hand in hand. The relationship between them is just weirdly uncanny. So the first point that I really need to make with this that is so huge is the more fit you are, the more you work on this, the more it really shapes your mentality, because you're always grinding against maybe lifting or some kind of training. There's some kind of vigorous output that is going to be somewhat not exciting until you really gain a love for it, right? But everything's uncomfortable. Lifting heavy weights is uncomfortable. Being out of shape is uncomfortable. So you got to kind of pick your version of uncomfortable. The more fit I got, what I realized is I was able to deal with stress, with pressure, with time management even better, because things like just take 75 hard for a perfect example. It is a program where you have to fit so many things into one day and no one has any more time than anybody else, right? So I had to compress my day. I had to get more things fit in than ever. And the reason in the story I wouldn't do it for so long was always that I didn't have enough time. And all of a sudden, I figured out a way to do it. I had the time to do it, and I did all the things I always do. And so being organized with my time allowed me to do even more. And so what it showed me is it showed me how well I can manage my time and how much more efficient I can be if I actually try and I set out with a plan in mind from the beginning. From the beginning of the day, from the beginning of the month, from the beginning of the quarter. I can have actionable items that I need to do to get everything done and to consider a day a win. And so that one piece then helped with those other pieces, the stress, the pressure, the whole thing that is business. It allowed me to tackle all of those things much easier. And there's something about when you're already frustrated because there's a big bill you've got to pay or some big stressful thing, or there's someone you got to let go, or you're desperately trying to hire someone. When you can train or when you can work out before those times, or you're just stressed out about how it's going, so you do and go on a run or go lift or go do whatever it is for you, right? Go swim, go canoe. I don't know. Go ride your dirt bike, whatever it is. It is almost like a meditative, relaxing time that allows you to sink into this hard thing, this challenge, and it allows you to better manage these situations. I know for sure when a team member, when something happened that really just pissed me off, and maybe I would have reacted if I just went straight to that situation, tried to deal with it. When I could have that situation happen, then input one of these in between, maybe go run a few miles, go do something, go lift heavy, I would react to that situation so much better, and I have such a clear view of where I should take that, how that situation should go. And I was always much more proud of the version of myself I was after something like that than just going right in and potentially going out emotional on it. So when you're rolling in business and you're getting started, it's hard to have a focus. I've mentioned 75 hard multiple times, but it's hard to be able to stay focused on doing anything with fitness because the story you tell yourself is you don't have enough time and I've got to put all of this aside for right now to try to make everything work. When in reality, you don't have the time to not have the time, right? Like this is so pivotal. This is so pivotal in your life and in your business that if you just take action on this and you figure out how to fit it in, you're going to have more success sooner. So for me, the biggest advice I can give you that's going to take you leaps and bounds ahead is just using targets. Just having something like 75 hard. That was the onset of what it took for me to really start focusing on fitness. I followed the regimen. I didn't drink alcohol. I followed the diet. I didn't have a cheat meal. I worked out twice a day, once outside. I read the 10 pages of the book. I did the gallon of water. I did all the things that I had to do. And that got me in a regimen of being consistent. There's another crossover with business. Consistency is key. Consistency is king in your business on having success. And a lot of times it's those little inputs day in and day out. They don't seem that exciting, but they pay off big in the end. So it started out with doing something like 75 hard. You can try that, or you can try one of these other options. Maybe it's for you doing your first 5K. Maybe it is doing back in the day. I remembered when I was working out back in the day, I was like, man, I need to have a reason to be doing this to stay excited about it, because training has always been a part of my life. For a large part of my life, training was for racing motorcycles. So I have realized I am able to stay much more fit if I have a reason. You're able to have more success in your business if you put things like conferences and goals and big things on the calendar to kind of pull you into the future. Same philosophy. And this allows you to, even when you don't think you have time, you got to figure out how to have the time, because if you want to suffer less in a lot of events, you need to train and be prepared for them. So I implemented back in the day a fight for air, which is climbing to the top of a building as fast as you can. I did 5Ks. I did these little things like that. I remember always wanting to do Tough Mudder back in the day. And then now, as you fast forward into this time, I started with a team wanting to do Tough Mudder races. So I had a reason to kind of train. We got into that. All of a sudden, I started going off the rails for long distance running. And I got intrigued by half marathons and marathons and ultra running. And then it became triathlon. And it doesn't have to be that path for you at all. It can be any version of something that pulls you forward into this positive thing that's got a positive connection with business and is going to allow you to have more positive outcomes in your life, because the dividends being fit will pay are just so monumental. More energy for my kids, live longer, everything. There's no bad output. A lot of people that are addicted or addicted to drugs, they might have replaced that one thing and then got into distance running or something. They replaced one addiction with the other. True, you might be addicted to it, but some addictions will for sure kill you and have a lot of negative outcomes. And I guess you could say you could fry yourself doing anything, but some allow you to have an outlet, and for the most part, have nothing but benefits and much less harm. So I think being able to get into something where you really are able to get into it and get addicted to it, or get just filled with interest and passion about something that intrigues you, that is so powerful, because us as humans, we all want to progress. Progression gives us so much fulfillment. And when we have the opportunity to do that in our family, and then we have the opportunity to do that in our business, and then before you know it, we have the opportunity to do that in our chosen passion. And then if that chosen passion happens to help you stay more fit, so you can stay more active and you can have a better, not just lifespan, health span, the better you can do in business, because the game of business is a game that you get to play forever. The better that you get to do in the game of being a parent, a spouse, whatever, family member, because the more energy you'll be able to bring to that forever. It is positive in all the inputs, and especially in business and family and life in general. So with this, the biggest feedback I can give you, right? It's going to help all the stress. It's going to help you get through these challenges. And then setting those goals is really going to kind of pull you to, okay, well, I'm going to run this half marathon, so I need to be able to handle that, so I'm going to have to work out this much. Or, okay, I'm going to go do this obstacle course race with friends, or I'm going to go hike and do this hunting thing that's going to be really, really vigorous, and it's going to suck a lot less if I am prepared for it. The biggest piece to remember, as I say, where this comes so in common with business, consistency. Be thinking of your business, your relationships, your health, everything in your life that matters to you is just putting one brick in the wall every day. There's a wall there, you're building it. It doesn't matter how many bricks you get in it, but if you put in one a day, you're going to make progress, and they all tend to flow together, and they will all have a positive outcome on each other.